here are the 5 keys to creating great results. 1, surround yourself with like-minded people. 2, choose your attitude. Fucking hell. Just stop being a pussy and just get involved. Oh, I saw it. Fuck, who cares?
Great stuff.
Hi Tom, did you like that little episodio 9?
Yeah, I had to ask you what it meant.
It was for our one Italian viewer.
Yeah, number 9.
I'm pretty sure it means episode 9.
Yeah, we're trying to crack the Italian market at the moment.
Somebody from Lygon Street will send me a message going, "You fucking idiot, it's not episode 9 at all." I think it is, I looked it up.
How'd you spell it?
Well, episode is episodio, and 9 is 9.
Yeah, I used to do Italian
me too.
in primary school.
Year 9 with Mrs. Bigelow. She's probably dead now,
Yeah.
shame. Hope you're not though. And if you're watching Mrs. Bigelow, thanks, great year.
All right, let's get cracking. So, last week we had a heap of questions that came through for the Q&A.
Oh, they did.
So I've got some more. We've got another 5 that we're going to punch through.
Right, so no briefing me on these?
No.
All right, well let's hope I know the answers. Or
No,
I'll
you
make
do.
something
They're good. I think they're really good conversational pieces.
I do.
And I don't have to answer them, which is...
That's true. You just need to read them.
Yeah, and also, in our feeds on Facebook, a lot of videos of people doing very stupid things in the gym seem to come through. Well, in mine at least.
Yes.
So I've got a couple of those, and I want you to dissect them,
Critique them.
and just tell me what is going on.
You can say fuck.
What the fuck's going on?
Thank you.
Let's do this. So Andy asks, teens training, what age can you start training?
This is interesting. So there's a few schools of thought, and you've got to remember that boys and girls reach maturity at different ages. So when you were in year 9, so when you were 14 or 15, was there a kid or kids in your year that looked like men?
Yes.
And a couple that looked like they still should be in grade 6 and still waiting for their first pube?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I was smack bang in the middle.
Were you right? You were like the typical, you were in the middle of the curve?
I never had the real voice go. It was never my brother, year 9 or year 8 to 9, he just completely changed into a man. Yeah. But it was very quick.
We had a few of those. So in year 9, my year 9, we had blokes that looked 18, 19 and blokes that looked 12. So to set, and this is what some people want as an arbitrary number, 15. But some 15-year-olds are like men or heading towards like a man or a woman, and some are more childlike. So it depends, but for the most part, it's somewhere around 14, 15, 16. But the thing about lifting weights is it depends how it's done. I don't want to drag this on, but I also don't want to mislead people. So children that are 5 or 6 or 7 can lift weights. Hang on. What? It depends what they're doing. Right, so here's where people get this messed up. How much does a 6-year-old kid weigh? 30?
35 kilos?
35 kilos. So would you say to a 6-year-old kid, given the right circumstances, it's okay to just climb on the monkey bars across the thing, right? So here's the monkey bars, you across, there's all the rubber stuff on the floor. Cool. How much is he lifting?
35 kilos.
35 kilos, right? So some people go crazy when they see a child in the gym doing 2 or 3 kilo dumbbells. It'll ruin his growth plates. He'll be 3 foot tall for the rest of his life. Don't. It's ridiculous, right? It depends. There's lifting light weights in a controlled environment with somebody who knows what they're doing, which is absolutely fine if the weight is light enough and the form is good, versus a kid who's lifting 35 kilos, his or her own body weight, climbing on a tree, climbing on playground equipment, and so on. So it depends how it's done. But in terms of who should do it for athletic performance or for growth or for probably kids around 15, 16, 17 and onwards.
That's when you're really hitting, you're probably getting a lot of testosterone through the body.
Yeah, that's right. A funny, like this, I actually got interviewed on a program, a TV program, a well-known one, because they were trying to have a go at trainers who were training children with weights.
Yeah.
And I got interviewed for about an hour, right, by this lady and answered everything that she said, but clearly my understanding of anatomy and physiology and progressive overload and exercise programming in children and adaptation is far greater than hers as an interviewer. And she didn't know what to ask me she didn't know what to ask me anymore because I answered everything well and sensibly. And so when it finally came to the actual show, out of an hour, they took about 30 seconds and kind of twisted it.
Really?
Yeah, totally out of context to what I was saying. And then they got a lady who was a professor from somewhere. He's completely irresponsible. I'm like, oh. So that's why you got to be careful.
And
people get hysterical around these things and they don't need to.
Yeah, and you probably didn't get paid for that.
Of course not.
Oh.
Never again.
All right.
Yeah.
Karen says,
Gaza.
how do you open closed minds?
Well, you can't open a closed mind. The only mind you can really control is your own. You can influence others. And, you know, the thing is trying to teach somebody anything that doesn't want to be taught will create more disconnection than connection and more negativity than positivity. So if you've got somebody that you know, for example, you've got a brother and you love your brother, he's awesome, except he eats shit. He smokes, he drinks too much and he eats shit and you don't want him to die before he needs to and you want him to perform and feel good and be physiological well because you love him, not because you care what he looks like or you're embarrassed or you just love him, right? So if he doesn't want your help, if he's not asking for your help and he's in his own little way, quite content, and you try to change his mind or influence his thinking, habits, behaviours, then more than likely you'll create a problem or a wall between you and him, not a connection. So it's people have to be ready. I do, even with my reasonable knowledge about this stuff, I never try to convince or coerce anyone who isn't asking for my help.
Yeah.
Even with my stuff on Facebook, sorry to interrupt, I just put stuff up there and go, this is what I think, these are my thoughts, see if it resonates. If it resonates, do something. Yeah. If not, cool, see you next week.
It's hard when the person's closed-mindedness, is that the word, is affecting you directly. So you're emotionally feeling something and being frustrated about someone else. And so it's hard to let go. Like what's, you know, letting go and letting them, as in be ready when they're ready. So what's like, I guess, a way to sort of deal with that?
Well, I think that you can't, I think of one person, I can't say, but someone in my life, right?
You think they're watching?
I doubt it.
Okay.
No, but that's been in my life for a very long time that I love.
They're not a good friend because they're not watching.
No. But, so here's the thing, right? With, you know, even people that you love, you won't always get on often. And you won't always see things eye to eye. So I can't necessarily, not do I want to change that person or any person, but I can change the way that I am around them, right? So if somebody is a certain way, I'm not talking about this person now, I'm talking general, if they're stubborn or they think a certain thing or have a belief I don't have or they've got a behaviour that I think is destructive, or all I can do is maybe once or twice say, hey, I love you and I'm coming from a good place and I think ABC. If you need any help or if you want, I'm here, and then bugger off, right? You can't change other people. You can only change. You can influence people and all of that, but actually change them. Yeah. They have to. That's why I say when I get up in front of a room full of people, I can't fix you, change you, can't get out of bed for you, can't eat great food for you, can't be strong, resilient for you, can't finish projects for you, can't have a great attitude for you, can't have that hard conversation, make that hard decision for you. All I can do is coach and encourage and support, but then you're going to go and change your life or not.
Karen, hope that answered your question.
Gaza, I probably didn't answer it all
I think you did. All right, here we go. Laura says, what's the politest way you've told someone to go fuck themselves?
Well, I mean, I would just say to people that will agree to disagree. And I really have no compulsion. You know, people who even on my thing, I get messages from people going essentially, hey, you're a fuckwit and you're this and you're doing, people, you're not a psychologist or you don't, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm not. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a guru. I'm putting up my hand. Not a guru, not a genius. All I am is a bloke who shares thoughts and ideas, and some people resonate with those thoughts and ideas. And so I say to people, we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. We don't have to align. If I think A and you think B, that's fine. It's not fine when you try to shove B down my throat or I try to shove A down your throat. But it's okay if we're not on the same page for the most part. But there are obviously circumstances where it's not, like if we're at work and we're working on a project together. But then sometimes if you and a person don't see eye to eye, or there's some kind of, then you need to bring a third person in to kind of mediate, or at least kind of go, let's take the emotion out and let's have a conversation. But, you know, you and I need to be willing to be wrong.
Yeah.
Or to go, okay, I know better now, I'll do better, or to say I'm sorry. And I've said this before on our little adventure here, but over the years there's been many times where I've been wrong about things and I've had to unlearn old things and learn new things and go, hey guys, you know, I was telling you X, wow, I was wrong.
I think you've written it before, have on your whiteboard, have the uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But it can feel good once you have that uncomfortable conversation, because you've got the fear of going into it, then after there's the reward of going, I did it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and quite often, I mean, we've spoken, or I wrote this week about instinctive intelligence, or whatever you want to call it. There's different names for it. But we know I need to have a conversation. Yeah, but I'll wait till, you know, because, and then it's June, or then it's January. And so sometimes there's the things that we need to do quite often, whether or not it's have a conversation, make a decision, change our eating, go and say, I'm sorry. They're the things that we want to do and not, sorry, the things we need to do and not necessarily things that we're comfortable with or want to do. And but not always, but for the most part, the hard thing, the uncomfortable thing is the growth thing. You know, it's like getting in the gym and never getting uncomfortable. Good luck changing your body. Don't need to go in and kill yourself, but you've got to go, well, and unless there's some level of progression or change or variety or, you know, newness about what I'm doing, there needs to be something new. So my body has to adapt and grow. So too emotionally and mentally.
Well, I had this point last week where I was going, fuck, life is hard. Because it doesn't really get a great deal easier when you're trying to progress. And tell me if I'm wrong there, but I see with like my videos that I make, the harder they get, the harder they are to make, and I feel like, oh God, I'm never getting ahead.
You're always getting ahead,
Yeah,
but you're
like
constantly living in a new reality.
Yes.
You're constantly, see, here's the thing, if you were, right now, if you were, you know, 2 years back and producing the kind of stuff you were doing 2 years ago, it'd be like kindergarten. But the more evolved and the bigger the space you inhabit and you know, you're now working with companies, big-ish companies with real projects and real people and creatives, and some of the people you work with are ace, some are fuckwits, and some pay their bills on time and some don't. And sometimes they change their mind about the original conversation and you're like, really? That's not what we, you know, and that's just, and then, so there's the business of doing what you do, and then there's the art of doing what you do, which is shooting film and making something hopefully really watchable and entertaining, or whatever it is, for whatever medium or space you're in. But you're always changing and evolving, and I want you to be uncomfortable because that's where you grow.
I always reflect on what I've done before and then think, God, if I knew going into that what it required, wouldn't have done it. Same as the gym, going to the gym. If you knew what it took to get big,
for sure,
really knew what it took, you wouldn't do it.
Same with, you know, I've said this many times, same with corporate speaking. If I knew how terrifying some of it is sometimes, back when I first, and some of the, you know, these days, hopefully most of what I do is pretty good. But there were times when, you know, you're just like, this is not what, I said to somebody the other day, you know, so here's one of my experiences. I'm brand new at this. I had a way too bigger audience than I should have had early, about 1,000 people. I rock up and they're like, they go, hey, you're on, because the other guy finished early. I'm not ready. I'm like, fuck, I'm on in 10 minutes. I need some time. And they're like, they wheel you. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome our next speaker, Craig Harper. And then guy comes up and goes, Craig Harper is da-da-da-da. And I'm there with a fucking Madonna headset on, 1,000 people, the lights are down, the lights are in my eyes. And, you know, you got to start in 30 seconds. Be funny, be interesting, be amusing. Don't fuck up. Don't say don't talk too long. Don't talk too fast, and finish in 45 minutes and go. And you're like, oh, and that's not, you know, people go, oh, I spoke at my brother's wedding. I was hilarious. I want to be a professional speaker.
Yeah.
Good luck. But it's just doing that shit where you can't become good at anything without doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like we live in this unhealthy, quick fix, instant gratification, magic pill, silver bullet fucking mindset where we just, and Gary, your boy Gary Vaynerchuk, whatever the fuck he, g'day Gazza, I watched a video this morning. He was talking about this too, where people just don't want to do the work. They go, yeah, they want the reward without the journey. Yeah. They want the prize without the pain. And it just doesn't fucking work, because even if you get handed it, you'll fuck it up because you don't have the skills to sustain it, because you haven't worked. You haven't worked. If I go, here's a body full of muscles and shit, you won't know how to keep it because you haven't trained, you haven't eaten well, you haven't supplemented properly, you haven't created that, so you don't know how to keep it. But when you create it, you know what went into the building of it, now you know how to maintain it. And so too with any momentum. If you get accidentally thrown into some momentum and you're not up to that level, you're going to go back. But right now you're doing an apprenticeship, and we're doing, little things like this, which hopefully turn into bigger things.
Yeah.
That's where the learning happens, and that's where, because you're just laying foundation, and then it's like that book, Malcolm Gladwell, The Tipping Point. One day I believe, hopefully it's you and me, but it could be you, where boom, shit's going to happen, and you will have done that bigger apprenticeship, and people go, oh, look, Tommy fell on his feet. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
I just had a little moment then.
I know, I'm bloody inspired.
Well, but that's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the thing with motivation and self-help and personal development is, here are the 5 keys to creating great results. 1, surround yourself with like-minded people. 2, choose your attitude. Fucking hell. Fuck me drunk. Just stop being a pussy and just... get involved. Oh, I'm sore. Fuck, who cares? Yeah. That is it. It is messy. It is uncomfortable. Yeah. It is sometimes protracted. Welcome to life. Yeah. And while you keep going, everyone else who doesn't have your resilience, I listened to this awesome thing, and I know we're digressing, but it's relevant and it's interesting. I listened to an awesome thing yesterday about these 2 guys who are... veterans coming back from the war, and they're both in their late 20s, so they call them vets because they've done 5 or 6 or 7 tours. And they're talking about who performs the best, in other words, in that environment, and the training that they went through. So these guys were both like special forces, and they come through, they do all their normal training, and they're soldiers or they're Marines or whatever they were, and then they do this extra thing, which they go through a test that goes for 60 days. So for 60 days, they don't sleep a normal night's sleep. For 60 days, they don't have a normal meal. For 60 days, they're under extreme duress and pressure. Because all they're trying to find out is not who's the most skilled, not who's the best looking, not who's got the biggest muscles, not who's the most academic or the most gifted or talented, but who fucking survives in the pressure cooker, right? Who survives? Because I don't care how talented you are, I care what you do when the shit hits the fan. Because business, messy. Sport, messy. Achieving to a high level, messy, uncomfortable. So we get all these talented people that are going nowhere doing nothing because they're just not resilient, because life's not fair and fuck. Then you get these other people, and I don't think I'm the high watermark for success, but I believe I'm one of those people in that, not super gifted, not super anything, but I'm resilient. I'm resilient. I'm okay at communication. That's it.
Do you think you have an ability to fail a lot and be okay with that?
Me? Yeah. Or yeah. Or just see, even that term failure, that's subjective. I go, that didn't work out. I've had businesses that didn't work. I've done speaking gigs that weren't great. I've coached people that it wasn't awesome. But the more that I do, the greater my skill, the greater my confidence, the greater my momentum, the greater my resilience, the greater my mental and emotional toughness. Yeah. So other things where people go, I just go, more talented people than me just step away. I go, see ya. Yeah. It's like even with the whiteboard, we spoke about this. I just get up every day, I write something, think about it, and people have come and even in the last few months on Facebook started writing whiteboard messages, lasted about 3 or 4 days or weeks or whatever, and when got like whatever, not the response they wanted. Whereas with me, even with that, and it's not super sexy or fun, I come up with an idea, I write it on my computer, I fuck around with it a bit, I go, is this the right message? Are these the right words? Sometimes it's just funny, sometimes it's provocative, sometimes it's like a light bulb. But even then, I write it on the whiteboard, I want it to look okay. Sometimes I'll rewrite it or rewrite a bit of it, then I'll take a photo or 10, then I'll edit, then I'll kind of crop it and make it, then I put it up to see what it looks like to get just one little thing on Facebook. But most people couldn't be fucked doing that.
No way.
And then, you know, then you write something stupid the other night, like a fuckwit's, calling someone a fuckwit's only an insult if they're not a fuckwit. You know, otherwise, if they are, you're helping them towards enlightenment and empowerment or whatever I wrote. It's like, and 7,000 plus people, you know, so it's creating connection.
Yeah.
So for me, that metric is, wow, people, it resonated, they laughed, or they found something in it, over 3,000 shares. And then, and for my mission and our mission, I think with social media is to provide quality content, to impact people, stimulate people, provoke people, give them something to think about, but also build something that's worthwhile.
Yeah, I think the point of that though is that you are doing it from a place of, I don't think you're looking to get, you know, the likes. You're doing it because you love that shit.
Yeah.
You write, you get up, you put effort into it because you love it.
Yeah.
And I think when you do something with that sort of, you know,
For sure.
I guess approach, it pays off.
Well,
in the long term.
Well, those metrics I just pay attention to because What happened, Tom?
Yeah, we just had a technical issue.
I can't believe that. I'm so disappointed. But you know what? We can adapt. You know what Bruce Lee said?
What did Bruce Lee say?
He said, be like water.
Be water, my friend.
Yes.
Do you know what water is? Water always finds a way.
Yeah.
So if water's coming down a hill, it'll always find a way. It'll always work around the obstacles.
Yeah.
It'll manage the environment and it'll get to the bottom. It'll get where it wants to go.
Yeah.
So we need to be like water,
rolling.
always adapting to our environment.
I'm rolling with that stuff up.
And we're back.
I feel like this episode has been like this sort of building of a swell, and then it was just a massive wave when you kind of really came through with the goods there, Harps.
Nice surfing analogy.
You know I love surfing, so... all right, we're moving on.
Could we?
We're finishing. We're going to get to, right now, some videos that I found on the internet. These aren't sexual, like some of the others I found.
Introducing BangFit, the fitness method gyms don't want you to know about.
They're not half nude of me with someone else's appendage attached.
No, they're not. I'm not even going to show that photo. You're going to have to watch the last episode if you want to.
Yeah, thank you.
I won't flash it up right now in my hand. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what he does. You know what he does? In the moment, this is what fascinates me about his young mind is, while we're live, he'll just go, and so you can say, here! And then I don't even know how you do that.
I just put something there anyway.
Did you?
Yeah.
Something here.
What do you want there? I can put whatever I want.
Cheesecake.
Okay, do it again.
And cheesecake.
Done. Okay, first exercise that I want you to dissect. I have no idea what it's called, but it looks bloody interesting nonetheless. Here we go.
What if I've never seen it? Wow. Fuck off. Really? That's really stupid, but at the same time, Tom, quite impressive. Behind the neck press, not highly recommended either because of shoulders are in external rotation, there's a lot of stress. I love the environment he's in. I wonder why he's doing that.
This one's called Russian cardio. That's the name of the video.
Look at him, look at him. Yeah.
He's happy with himself, isn't he?
Wow. Wow, look at him.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah.
All right. Benefits, if there is any.
Or our amusement could be one.
Two.
Oh, it's silly. He's doing some cardio and some weight training at the same time, but completely unnecessary, pretty dangerous. Sitting on an exercise bike, pressing, silly, stupid. Don't try it at home. I don't even want to unpack the benefits because people think I'm somehow suggesting it. Don't do it, but for me to look at, fucking hilarious.
All right. This is one that I actually filmed. I was at a gym years ago, and this guy was doing something. I have no idea what it was, but it looked fun, and I want to try it. Tell me if there's any benefits to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, come on. I don't know, maybe he wants to feel what it's like in a weightless environment or something. So he's, I do not know what he's doing, but he looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, he looked like he was having real fun.
Having fun. Don't know how functional it is. He might want to review his training ensemble, but, you know, good for him.
All right, last one.
Oh, fuck. Oh. Goodbye, cervical discs. What's going on with his breast region there? What is he doing? Whoa.
Upside down press pull.
Don't try any of these three. But watch and laugh at the silly men. Notice no women are doing that stuff.
No,
All
I
fucking
actually couldn't find many doing any of that
stupid
stuff.
men. Stupid men. Wow, could you imagine the stress on your cervical vertebrae and, more importantly, your discs? And good for your blood pressure too.
Oh,
Yeah, don't do any of those.
Yeah. We done, mate?
And go!